Would McLaren rather pay over £20 million and have Daniel Ricciardo race their car? It's a question none of us thought we'd ever have to ask when he signed for the team in mid-2020, but it is now the situation we're in. How did we get here, and why McLaren wanted to dump Ricciardo? Let's get into it, shall we? Now, I'm sure if you've been on the internet these past few weeks, you'd at least have some idea what I'm talking about, as F1 summer break has been everything but a break thus far. It all began on the 1st of August, where two-time F1 world champion and elder statesman of the grid, Fernando Alonso, announced that he'd be leaving the Alpine team and joining Aston Martin for 2022. Long story short, he wanted a multi-year deal, Alpine wanted just one because of his age, so Alonso went elsewhere and got what he wanted, as well as a big wad of cash from Mr. Stroll. Now, this is all relevant because it's kicked off the silliest of silly seasons we've seen in a couple seasons, and has led us now to the point where legal action seems like the only option. Now, in the days following Alonso's departure, it seemed almost certain that Alpine Academy and reserve driver Oscar Piastri would step up and fill that vacant seat. After a year on the sidelines with nowhere to go, it at least seemed like one positive had come from the situation for the boys in blue, as they could now put their fresh young talent into an F1 car. And so they licked the stamp and sent it. It being the tweet that announced that Oscar Piastri is promoted to a race seat alongside Esteban Ocon starting from 2023. Simple as that. Situation sorted. Except it wasn't. As just a couple hours later, Piastri himself sent a tweet which would, forgive me for being dramatic, rock the F1 world like a magnitude 10 earthquake. I understand that without my agreement, Alpine F1 have put out a press release that I am driving for them next year. This is wrong, and I have not signed a contract with Alpine for 2023. I will not be driving for Alpine next year. Now, I'm sure none of this is fresh news to you. It was all over the internet, on the news, Twitter was going mental. It was all kicking off. And during the fallout, the story started to become a bit more clear. Now, since Alpine wanted to keep Alonso for at least another year, Piastri and his team decided to start looking elsewhere on the grid to find him a seat for 2023. And they apparently found this seat at McLaren, even though both the McLaren drivers do have a contract for next season, but we'll get back to that. Now, whilst Piastri was getting cozy with Zach Brown and co, Alpine still thought they had control over Oscar, as he was under contract with the team. However, that contract apparently expired on the 31st of July, the day before Alonso's announcement. So, in conclusion, chaos. Now again, I apologise that this isn't quite breaking news for many of you, but it is all relevant to the topic of this video, since, as I mentioned, Piastri wants a seat at McLaren, allegedly being signed to replace Daniel Ricciardo going into next year. But like I said, Daniel Ricciardo does have a contract, so what is going on? Let me try and explain. Now, we spoke before on this channel about the Aussie struggles at McLaren, and comments Zach Brown has made about the driver's performance. Now, over the course of these videos, I, quite frankly, lost my mind. Everyone was talking about how Ricciardo was going to get kicked out, McLaren were going to drop him and not even say sorry, Gasly's going to replace him, Ricciardo's going to be out of a seat, all this crazy stuff, right? And the entire time, Ricciardo had a contract. Now, from all the speculation earlier in the season, we know that Ricciardo's contract can end early, but only if he wants it to. McLaren can't just rip it up and throw it in his face. Daniel has to either make that decision himself or come to an agreement with the team, which is what it seems like McLaren are trying to do now. A financial payment that literally buys Daniel's contract out and basically pays him not to race for them, all in order to get a younger Aussie in the seat for next year. Now, how much are they paying Ricciardo for this? Well, that's an interesting topic because Ricciardo actually holds all the power here. He pretty much just has to name his price. And name it, he did, because Daniel came out and said he would like a grand total of $21 million. Stonks. On top of this as well, Alpine are likely going to be looking for some compensation from McLaren, which they feel is owed to them due to the whole contract situation. So basically, if McLaren want this Norris and Piastri lineup in 2023, it's gonna cost them. Now, back to the question at hand though, why would McLaren want to do this? Why would they be willing to spend an excess of $21 million to get rid of an 8-time race winner, who was one of the highest rated drivers in the paddock less than 2 years ago, just to bring in a brand new rookie driver to partner another driver who's never even won a bloody race? Well, of course, it comes down to a number of factors, but the main and obvious one is just Daniel's performances at the minute. Now, we all know he's been struggling ever since he's joined McLaren, and last year, bar Monza, there wasn't really anything to write home about. Thus, it was crucial he upped his game for this season, and unfortunately, he just hasn't. So far this year, he's only had 4 top 10 finishes, sitting only 12th in the point standings with just 19 points total, whilst his teammate has had 10 top 10 finishes, including 1 podium, and is 7th in the standings with 74 points. Let's do the maths on that, shall we? Siri, what's 76 divided by 19?
It's 4.
Lando has 4 times the points of Ricciardo. Need I say any more? But this goes beyond Ricciardo just looking like a bad driver, as his poor performances actually are costing McLaren money. With the team currently being in a close fight with Alpine for 4th in the Constructors, of which they're currently losing, every point counts. In fact, if Danny Rick had just scored half of what Lando has so far this season, they'd be over 15 points clear of Alpine and comfortably in 4th place. So just imagine where they'd be if he was matching Lando's performances. They'd be well clear, lads. So as sad as it might be, you can see why why McLaren might want him out, even if it means risking it with a younger driver. Now sure, Daniel may be able to bring it back and improve his form, but at this point I think it's just a lost cause with the team. They've clearly lost their patience, and the fact they're actually considering and probably will pay Ricciardo over 20 million not to drive for them should say a lot about their commitment to him. Like, if I was Ricciardo right now, I don't think I'd want to race for McLaren anymore. There's no point forcing a team that doesn't want you racing for them to keep you, because it's only going to lead to more conflict, more bad blood, and just a horrible working environment. Now whatever happens, I'm sure Ricciardo will find another drive on the grid, even if it does mean going back to Alpine. I just pray that even if his form doesn't come back for whatever reason, that he at least has a nicer environment to work in. And McLaren, I hope you're happy, lads. I hope it's worth it. I hope Piastri is an absolute monster for your team, honestly. And worst case, if it all falls through and you have no driver for next year, you've got my number, lads. But yeah, boys and girls, that's it for today's video. Make sure you let us know in the comment section down below what you think about the whole situation. Are McLaren right for getting rid of Ricciardo? Are they mental? Are they out of their mind? Personally, like I said, you know, I'm a Daniel Ricciardo fan. I do like him, but I think McLaren are making the right decision here. As sad as it might be, you know, performances really are everything, and I mean, Ricciardo's just not doing the business right now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I've been Aiden, this has been Crash F1. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you lot next time. Bye-bye.